Hi, this is Simon Candy from Acoustic Guitar Lessons Online.net, and today I want to show you some really cool chords that are advanced sounding but easy to play for your guitar playing. As guitar players, we tend to be quite advanced in our soloing skills, yet by comparison pretty intermediate with our chord playing and knowledge. So a lot of the time we don't really step outside of open chords and bar chords. Now today I want to change that for you and introduce you to a series of chords that are going to extend the full range of our fretboard. These chords that we're going to have a look at will cover the major, dominant and minor types. These are the three main sounds in music, so these chords are going to be very versatile for your guitar playing, whatever style you play. What are these chords? What are they called? Well, they can go by several different names. I like to call them block chords, and the block chords that we're going to have a look at today are going to happen on the top four strings. They're going to fall upon the top four strings of our guitar. To further explore the use of block chords in your guitar playing beyond what we have a look at today, click on the link below this video and download my free ebook, Jazz Concepts for Acoustic Guitar Block Chords, and there you'll find many more cool and unique ways to use these block chords in your guitar playing. Okay, so there's a way of going about learning our block chords on the guitar that it's going to make it that much easier for you to access, remember and visualize them. So let's begin with our first block chord form, which is going to be a root position major 7th block chord, and I'm going to play it here as an F major 7th chord. So it's going to extend from the F note on the 4th string at the 3rd fret, and that is our major 7th root position block chord. Now to get the dominant 7th block chord root position, all we actually need to do is change one note from this chord shape, and it's going to be the note that falls at the 5th fret on the 2nd string. It's going to move down one fret to the 4th string. Now to accommodate that, I refret the chord, and as a result I get the dominant 7th root position block chord. Okay, and there's just one note difference, because between a major 7th and a dominant 7th chord there is just one note difference. And if you don't know anything about chord theory, chord formulas, all that sort of stuff, notes that make up chords, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about that at all right now, because it's not important. Just accept that there is one note difference between a major 7th and a dominant 7th chord. Now to get our minor 7th chord, again we're just going to change one note from what we have here, our dominant 7th shape. So I'm going to take the note on the top string, 5th fret, and move it down one fret again to the 4th fret. Again, I've got to refret the chord to accommodate that change, and in doing so I get my minor 7th root position block chord form. And again, I've just changed one note from the dominant 7th form. Okay, so to summarize, I have root position major 7th. By altering one note, I get root position dominant 7th chord, and by altering again one note I get the minor 7th root position dominant 7th chord. Minor 7th chord there, sorry. Okay, so major 7th, dominant 7th, minor 7th. And this is the way that we want to train them and relate them on the fretboard, because it's going to make them that much easier to visualize and find in real life playing. Okay, so we can multiply these shapes by simply playing the inversions of each. So without going too deep into the theory, because that's not the point of our video, I really want you to focus on the shapes and the visualization and relationships of these shapes. But in a chord, or in our F major 7th chord, we have four notes. We have an F, an A, a C and an E note. So what I'm going to be doing is extending a particular shape, a unique shape from each of those chord tones, and I'm going to be placing those chord tones on the 4th string. So we already have our major 7th form extending from the root note F. The second note in F is A, so I go find an A on the 4th string, which is here at the 7th fret, and from there I extend a unique shape that gives me the major 7th form for F in that position. Then I go to the C note, 3rd note of my F major 7th chord, and on the 4th string that's at the 10th fret, and from there I can extend a unique shape that gives me the F major 7th form for that position, and I can go to the 4th note in the chord E, and on the 4th string that's right up at the 14th fret, and from there I can extend a unique shape again that gives me another form of F major 7th. So what we have are 4 different F major 7th forms. We have root position, what's known as a first inversion, what's known as a second inversion, and then what's known as the third inversion. Okay, extending the full range of the fretboard, and when we get to the get up to here to the third inversion, we're back at the start again on our root position, only we're an octave higher, and then you can go as far as you can go with your fretboard. Okay, so this ensures there's always going to be a major 7th chord close by if we've got those 4 different positions. And what you want to do is become familiar with those shapes. Learn those 4 shapes. That's very important to then take the next step with our block chords. To learn more ways to visualize and particularly use these chords creatively in your guitar playing, click on the link below this video and you'll learn more ways, in addition to what we're going to do today, of using block chords in your guitar playing. So click on that link and it will take you to my free ebook, which is called Jazz Concepts for Acoustic Guitar Block Chords. Okay, so we can multiply these shapes again further simply by playing the dominant 7th and minor 7th forms off of the major 7th forms we just did, running them up the neck. So as we did from the root position, we had the major 7th and we changed one note to get dominant 7th, and we changed one note again to get minor 7th. So we can do that with each of the additional major 7th forms that we just did. So first inversion major 7th, the shape we learned here, we move the note on the 3rd string down 1 fret and we get a dominant 7th chord. From that shape, we move the note on the 4th string down 1 fret, we re-fret the chord a little bit to accommodate that, and we get a minor 7th form. If we go up to our major 7th second inversion that we learn up here from the 10th fret, we move the note on the top string down 1 fret, we get the dominant 7th form. And if we move the note under the barred finger there on the 2nd string down 1 fret, and we just re-fret that to accommodate that change, we get minor 7th, the second inversion minor 7th chord form. And then if we go up to the major 7th that we learn up here, the 3rd inversion, if I simply move the note on the lower string, on the 4th string down 1 fret, and just re-fret the chord to accommodate that change, I get the dominant 7th 3rd inversion. And if I just take the 2nd finger off, so that I'm essentially moving my 14th fret on the 3rd string down to 13, I'm left with the bar, and that gives me a 3rd inversion minor 7th chord form. So you now have 4 different positions to play each of those 3 chord types. Now, this is how you want to practice them. There's 2 ways. One is to play one chord type via the 4 positions. So major 7th root position, major 7th first inversion, major 7th second inversion, major 7th third inversion. Then you want to go and play the dominant forms. So root position dominant 7th, first inversion dominant 7th, second inversion dominant 7th, third inversion dominant 7th, and then finally the minor 7th forms. Minor 7th root position, minor 7th first inversion, minor 7th second inversion, and minor 7th third inversion. So each chord via 4 positions. In addition to that, you want to learn or play each chord type in each position. So 3 chord types, 1 position, as we did originally. So major 7th, dominant 7th, minor 7th. Then you go up to the next, major 7th, dominant 7th, minor 7th. Then you go up to the next form, major 7th, dominant 7th, and minor 7th. And then again, major 7th, dominant, minor. They're the 2 ways to practice them. If you do that, you're going to be well on your way to visualizing these chords on the fretboard. It's all to do with how they relate to each other. What we're going to do next is now get these chords into a musical context. Okay, so we're going to take what's known as a 2-5-1 chord progression and apply the block chord shapes, a variety of the block chord shapes that we've learned here over the top. Now, a 2-5-1, our key is going to be G major, and a 2-5-1 is when we take the 2 chord, the 5 chord, and the 1 chord out of the key. So in our key of G, that's A minor 7th, D dominant 7th, and G major 7th. So it's a good progression to use to demonstrate the chords here, because we get one of each chord type: minor seventh, dominant seventh, and major seventh. So I'm going to take this chord progression and I'm going to apply some of these shapes to show you how they sound, and then we'll come back and I'll take you through some of the approaches that I was doing. What I'll do initially with this progression is, the first time through the example I'll play it pretty straight and mechanical, then I'll free up a little bit and play it a little bit more musically the second time. Okay, so in that example that you just saw, I was using the chord forms that we'd learned, the block chord forms over the chord progression. The first two times through the progression, I was sticking to the one position with each block chord form. So for example, A minor seventh, if I played it here, then I'd find the D seventh that was closest to that A minor seventh chord. And there's always going to be one close by if you've got your four shapes for each form down. Then for the G major seventh, I would find the closest relating G major seventh chord, which perhaps might be that one, could be this one. Sometimes there might be one of two that you could use. The reason for this, one, the training aspect, which is how we've trained them already. It's a great way to learn how they fall on the fretboard and how they relate to each other. So that's definitely a great reason to do it like that. It also sounds good because you get common notes between each chord when you stick them around the same position most times. So it's not a rule, you don't have to do that. You can certainly move the chords around. I could play A minor seventh here and D seventh down here and G major seventh up here if I like. There's no rule, but it's a great way to voice chords out. It sounds good and it's a great way to visualize them. After that, you can jump around and do whatever you like. In the second two rotations of that chord progression, in that example, I was moving between block chord forms while the chord stayed the same. So what I mean is the A minor seventh was happening in the backing track, and on the first two beats, the first half of the bar, I'd play one block chord form of A minor seventh. Then the second two beats, I would change to a different block chord form of A minor seventh. When it went to D seventh, I'd do the same thing. I'd play a D dominant seventh block chord form, then I would move the second half of that bar to a different D dominant seventh block chord form. And when it went to G major seventh, I'd do the same thing. I'd just have a bit more time on G major seventh because I had two bars. So I'd move between block chord forms of G major seventh. So it produces a really nice, cool sound of your block chords moving across the progression as the chord stays the same. So you get this sort of A minor seventh, then to the D, and then into our G major seventh. Okay, so that's one way that you can apply your block chords. To learn many more ways to creatively apply block chords to your guitar playing, click the link below this video and download my free ebook, Jazz Concepts for Acoustic Guitar Block Chords. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. There'll be many more videos released on a regular basis and you'll receive regular notifications when they are released. So do subscribe to the channel. Visit my website, www.acousticguitarlessonsonline.net, and there you'll find many more resources to do with acoustic guitar, including harp harmonics, percussive guitar techniques, soloing, rhythm approaches, finger picking resources, all sorts of things, and I'm sure you'll find something there of interest. So do visit acousticguitarlessonsonline.net. Thank you for watching today's video. I appreciate your time. I hope you've enjoyed learning some block chords, and I really do hope you take these and train them further into your playing and apply them musically to your playing. I always find if I learn something new and I like it, I will apply it to the nth degree. Basically, I'll just go to town on it, and I won't think about taste or anything like that. I'll just overdo it, if you like, and it's a way to really get something into my playing, and then once it's in my playing, I can then use it more musically. It'll be there for me to use. So do take the chords and have fun with them, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.